what can I say about Rawhide? It's more bleeding edge than Arch will ever be, because that's for developers.
Yeah, yeah. I like people saying Arch is like a bleeding edge distro. No, no, it barely is cutting edge half the time. I don't know if you
Yep.
I every so often I talk to Vaxry about Hyperland, and prior to the current version, I think we were waiting about 2 months to get the package. There were like two big versions in between before Hyperland
Which
got
brings
updated.
me, which brings me to a good transition.
Mm,
Hyperland.
yes.
Okay, since you talk to Vaxry a lot,
Mm.
what does he think about Arch install's Hyperland profile? because
I've not asked him about it actually.
when I checked the Hyperland profile on Arch install, it barely installs anything to get you up and running. It doesn't do, even if you select. And here's my nitpick with Arch install for us
Before
NVIDIA
you go into
users.
that, before you go into that, for anyone who doesn't know what Arch install, just give a brief explanation of that.
Okay, Arch install is a script that makes it easy to install Arch. It's written in Python. It makes it easy to select which drive you wanna install Arch on. So it allows you to select packages, any additional packages you want, and they have profiles,
Mhm.
desktop profiles, window manager profiles, which they need to separate because when you select desktop, you got desktop and window managers. They need to separate the two. But you just select the desktop environment or window manager you want to install, and it will take care of the rest.
Mhm.
It does everything that you don't want to bother with, like the Arch install guide on the
Yeah,
wiki.
basically just automates
If
the
you don't
Arch
want to do
install
it,
guide effectively.
yeah, it automates the Arch install guide. That's why it's called Arch install, and it's very minimal. It's
Very
just a
yes,
Python script. It
very
doesn't
minimal.
occupy. Yeah, it doesn't. It occupies barely a few megabytes on the ISO.
Well, also minimal in just what it does. Like that's the other, and
Yeah,
that sort of goes into the profile
you,
thing.
I went through it last night because I did a fresh install. I went through it last night in 30 seconds.
Yeah, yeah. It gets you
Inst-
basically everything in the install guide. It's not going to do anything more than that. Actually, well, the advanced mode does have a couple other things like you can enable
Uh-oh.
can't you enable like multi-level something in the advanced mode? There's a couple of extra things
No,
in
no,
advanced.
advanced mode adds two things.
Okay.
One of them being very good, parallel downloads.
I don't know why that's
That
not just
allows
the
you to
default way Pac-Man works. That I don't understand. Yeah.
The other one, it's going to make you laugh so hard you're gonna cough up a kidney.
Mm-hmm.
They allow you to select NTFS for the root partition. Let that sink in a little bit. Let that sink in.
For the root partition.
Not the boot partition, the root partition.
The root partition.
NTFS. That doesn't work with Linux.
Well, no, you can.
Why they included that?
You can do it.
It doesn't have the correct permissions. It doesn't use permission system. I tried it. It fails. You end up with the in the TTY. The system will not boot.
Well, no, you can do it. It might just be set up completely wrong. You shouldn't do it.
I don't know how. If you add the -- advance and you go to the drive selection, and when it asks you what format that you want your file system in, the last choice is NTFS. So
maybe they don't even. Do they install the NTFS driver? Because that also could be the problem.
I don't know. I didn't check that deep because I thought that option was a little bit hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
And we tried it. We tried it in a VM. We selected NTFS. We went through the install. The install goes fine-ish. It complains about the permissions because everything is when you select NTFS, everything is set to 777 permission.
Okay.
The way NTFS does.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah, it's got some weird quirks. Arch install is not perfect, but this is my nitpick with Arch install when it comes to Hyprland and the NVIDIA drives. For us, mere little mortals who prefer NVIDIA for the NVENC encoder, they don't do the necessary for Hyprland to work correctly, because for Hyprland to work correctly, since it runs on Wayland, you need the NVIDIA modules and MK-init CPIO and the mod probe and so on and so forth. This is a little bit technical, but those are basically the required things for NVIDIA to run on Wayland. They don't do that. They don't install the lib32, the 32-bit libraries. They don't install the full package stack for the driver. They just install three packages. NVIDIA-DKMS, at least they got that one right. And they install NVIDIA utils and NVIDIA settings. That's it. And if you and even if you enable the multilib repository, it's not going to grab any of the 32-bit libraries. So basically, when you select Hyprland, you will end up on a login loop. If you have an NVIDIA card, a login loop, because the Wayland stuff is not being applied.
Right.
So I'm like, and the Hyprland profile only includes 7 packages.
Yeah, for anyone just listening, it's Hyprland, Dunst, Kitty, Dolphin, Woffy, the Hyprland portal, which is nice they include, Qt5 Wayland, and Why do you include those? If you're going to include nothing, why do you include those? Qt5 Wayland and Qt6 Wayland. You
need Qt6. You no longer need
Qt5. My point is, like, considering like how few packages are installed here, why even bother install those? Like, nothing you've installed needs them.
Yeah, exactly. And I understand that Hyprland is a meta package, because meta packages are necessary for correct install, but still, it doesn't install everything that is required. So basically,
Hyprland's not a meta package. Wait, what do you mean Hyprland's a meta package?
Not a meta package, sorry. It's got dependencies. It brings with it the correct dependencies.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's not... So basically, what you end up with when you select the Hyprland profile is, if it logs in using Mesa, because Mesa does support Wayland, but just basic support, you will end up on the desktop with the anime image, the usual default wallpaper with the yellow bar on top telling you, okay, it's time to get to work, you lazy app. So basically, they don't do anything.
Yeah, I was looking at the Sway config. The Sway config, I think, is... Like, I don't know what they're doing with these profiles. I feel like the profiles are kind of pointless. Like, I'm looking at the Sway config. The Sway one has Sway BG, which is how you set the background, Sway lock, which is a lock screen, Sway idle, Way bar, D menu, not Woffy like the other one. I don't know why it uses D menu on Wayland anyway. Brightness CTL, Grim, Slurp, Pavu control, which is a pulse audio thing.
Yeah.
Foot, Xorg Wayland. Wait, the Hyprland one doesn't install Xorg Wayland. It doesn't install X Wayland. What? Wait.
No.
I'm why does this package... Okay, for any Arch devs who might be listening, can someone explain to me why these profiles exist? Like, I think it's a good idea, but why do they exist? Because in their current state, they don't make any sense.
There you go. Finally, you get to what my major nitpick is with profiles. That's why I created my own KDE one.
Well, they've got a nice framework here for making... I saw, like, they've got, like, a Python API for making custom profiles, and I think for that it's great, but, like, the default ones here are completely pointless.
Completely.